So let's talk about blood tests, because when you have cancer, you have to take a bajillion of them. Are you an easy stick?
Am I? Am I? No, no,
Me either.
no. It's not
Uh,
fun.
yeah. So what do you do to not kill someone when they try to stick you with needles? Do you have like a prep that you do?
No, I try, well, yes. So I try to be more prepared. So I try to drink the water the day before.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's the first
Testify.
thing that I learned. Drink the water the day before, not the morning of. That's dumb, because it's not dumb, but don't do that. Because it's not in there yet. So drink the water the day before. And then I'm always prepared for it to be a disaster. I just am. And part of the, I think that if you, so say I have a diagnosis, I'm probably going to be at a place where they do this better. I'm hoping. But I don't know. You'll have to say whether or not you still have experiences, because I generally go to my doctor's office. They're pretty good. But sometimes you get the lady who's only does it once a week or whatever.
Yeah.
I give them like 2 tries. And then I'm like, well, let's revisit this later. Because they're like, oh, do it in your hand. No. Um, and you get the ones that want to look at it visually and see if they can see the vein. I am now covered in tattoos on both
Oh,
arms.
excellent point. Oh, that's
You're not,
something I don't have commentary on.
it's a new development. I mean, I got this one last year, right? So that was a new development last summer. I was like, oh, okay. But the lady was like, I don't need to see it. Like, I'm not, I'm better
Yeah.
than that. She knew her worth.
Better than that.
You know what I mean? She knew what was going on. So, yes, so I just, the water, man. It's really,
Yeah. No, I think the hand is huge because, like, even though I'm like whiter than white, you can see some of the veins. Uh, there's just no good ones to go for that they can see. The one that, if you're going to take blood from me, I got one here. I got one here that you feel like it and you go, oh no, it's real near. That's a tendon. And so I don't even let them look at the right arm. I say it has to be the left arm. Then I say it's down here and it's really deep. So, like, if you know you've got a spot, like, that's ideal so that you can tell them, like, it's right here and it's deep. I
I
always
need to
tell them,
pay attention to that.
yeah, now, here's something I can do that I can do, but you can't do.
You don't know that.
Well, I say I've had chemo. So I guess you could lie and say that you've had
I'm
chemo.
not, certainly
But
not
right?
going
You
to
can
do that.
tempt the universe and fate and see what happens to you.
Certainly not going to do that.
but I did have chemo, so I just did, and I had crappy veins before chemo, but they didn't listen to me. But now I just go, I had chemotherapy and it wrecked my veins, which it did not help. And I go, but I have got one right here that keeps giving. But when you have to put the contrast in, that's a different story. So you usually can't put the contrast in. You can take blood from this one, but you can't take the contrast and put it in on that one for some reason. And so there's a nice juicy one right here, and then they look here. And I'll tell you that these veins will blow if you try. Like, these veins cannot
Absolutely.
handle in. So if they try to go for the hand, I say you've got one shot. If you want the hand, I
Yeah.
will let you try, but it is so painful. I give you one
Oh,
try, and if you
yeah.
can't do it, you get a nurse. And that usually insults them a little bit, and then they feel like I've laid down the gauntlet, and now they've got to
Right.
go
They
for it.
figure it out. Right. They figure it
Yeah.
out.
Um, and so then, because I've said they've got one shot, they bring out the hand warmers.
Oh, yes. The hand warmers.
Yeah. Then they'll go hand warmer gels. Then they'll be like, okay, here's the ball.
I
Then they
always get
start,
the squeezy ball. I always
yeah.
get the squeezy ball. So they come right out with the squeezy ball. But I also tell them, I hate this. I hate every minute of it. And now that I have, it's funny because people that don't have tattoos are like, oh, but you have tattoos. Why are you like needles? I'm like, it's not the same. It's completely different. You're jabbing me and taking blood out.
Right.
So I just tell them, like, this is awful. I hate every bit of it. Let's do this as well as we can. We're a team. Let's do this
Yeah.
as well as we can.
Well, okay, so you know what happened is when before I had chemo, I had to have a pick line, and so the pick line is like so they go and they put a line right from this artery right here. So when they put the chemotherapy in, it just goes right into a major thing, right? And so that way those tubes are always there so they don't have to stick you all the time. So they were like, yeah, so they just get out an ultrasound and they just ultrasound my arm. And then she goes, oh, there it is. And then she just does it. And I'm like, can this not happen
Why
always?
can't you do that all the time? I'll pay a fee. I'll just pay a fee to help. Like, do you know what I mean?
I have no idea why that cannot happen, but I was dumbfounded that this is even a possibility and no one ever does it. But like, and here's the thing: the people that take the blood, usually I go to a lab and they're phlebotomists and everything. They're all day long, take the blood, take the blood. But when I have an MRI or a CT, the people that take the blood are trained or that are doing contrast are trained
Oh,
in doing MRIs and CTs, and they do some contrast. Like it's
oh,
an
so they're not
afterthought for
specialists.
them.
Hmm.
And one time, the only time we ever walked out was when they couldn't do it, and they stuck me maybe 5 or 6 times, and then they looked and couldn't get it to go, and they had done this and then this blue, so I literally had like a whole lump of contrast just stuck right there, and it hurt so bad. It was excruciating. It was short lived, but it was excruciating. Then they started looking at my feet,
Oh, no.
and
So I'm gonna.
Brian said, we're done. My ex-husband, but husband at the time. And so we just said we'll not have contrast. And they're like, no, 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 it said contrast. And it's like, well, you had your shot and we're done. So it will have to be
I
good
cannot
enough.
imagine.
And you feel like it takes so long for you to learn that you actually can say that. Like you can actually be like, no, I will not let you do this to my body.
I think that we have, and I think that people who are younger than us are, I hope, receiving the message now because I think that we are delivering it. Like
Yeah.
you can just say, I don't like this, I'm not comfortable with this, this isn't working for me, whatever language it is that you have to use. And I'm still not great at it, but it's an like you like I just we weren't raised that way.
Yeah.
We just didn't know that. You know what I mean?
Like, do you
And so
think your
that's
mom
huge.
ever questioned or your dad ever questioned what the doctors told them?
Uh, I don't think so. I don't think so. I was never with my dad during those, any of his, I was too young to be with him during any of his
Right,
appointments.
right.
And I was with my mom in many of her appointments, and many I wasn't. The ones where I was with her, there was an implicit trusting in the expert that we were with, and she just received the information, and that is the directions we followed because the doctor said so. And and they weren't ever contrary to what I thought they should be, except the one time where she didn't receive a certain treatment, and maybe that was the right answer. I don't know because
Right.
you know what I mean? Hindsight is 2020. But no, 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 no. And I don't think my dad did. My dad did practice his right to leave routinely. So does that count?
Yeah, I
So
think
he did. He might not have like he wasn't questioning. He was just like, I'm done and I'm removing this and I'm going to leave.
did he
Um,
really?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so he did practice his right to, I'm going to go now. I'm done. You didn't do this quickly enough. Like, when they make you wait for surgery, and then you wait for surgery, and then you wait for surgery, and things happen. And he would
Yeah.
just like, I'm going to go. I don't think that was advisable. He always ended up getting whatever it is that they needed to do done.
Yeah.
But it would not have been that day. Yes. Yeah, he reserved his right to refuse his own service.
That's a level of self advocacy I have not exercised yet.
I don't think I would too. My husband also has this level of, I'm done. I'm not participating. I'm going to go now. And I don't think I have. We'll see. We'll see. So far, I don't have that.
Yeah, the only time I like ended something early was I had gotten permission to. So I said I wouldn't do the second round of chemo. I said, nope, first sucked too bad. I'm not going to do it again. I don't know how I survived the first time. And they, because I had the 96-hour, 5 days in the hospital thing. And so then she was like, okay, what is it about it that was so terrible? And so we talked about it, and I said, I'm just trapped. And she said, well, what if we do orders that say if it's too much, you're done? Like you have orders automatically that say discharge. And so when she flipped it into my control, that changed it. Because when I was like, I have to do the whole 96 hours and I don't think I mentally can do it, it wasn't the physical, it was the mental. Um, Once she said, if you do 40 hours and that's all you can do and you say I'm done, then you're done, that gave me the control. And so I got to like 94 hours. And like at that point, I was like, okay, let's go ahead and start this whole discharge. Cause they're like, we need a sign, like, where it's like the last day and you're waiting for all the things and you get all
Mhm.
your stuff and you're just so over it and you just want to go home. But they're like, we're waiting for the doctor to sign the discharge papers. And I'm like,
Right.
hey, he doesn't need to. I already have permission. And they're like, what? And I'm like, check the chart, check. So I did call. I guess I have always lied to you all this time. I had 96 hours and like 94 and a half hours of
I don't know if we can
chemotherapy,
continue this because
right? My whole experience was a
your whole
lie.
experience is built on a lie.
But yeah, that's the only time I ever called off anything other than
Uh,
the contrast.
it is a gutsy thing. I want people to know that because it is a gutsy thing to to like question your treatment team. Like, and it's an honest thing. It needs to be done
Yeah.
sometimes, and we need to understand. I am so often into the doctor's office. Okay, I've got this thing. I'm gonna got my list. The list. Got my list. I'm gonna go in. And then they go, "Do you have anything else?" And then I go, "Nope." And I leave because I just want to get out of there. So it's just such a big deal to bring up the things that you have the questions about. And I'm getting better about it as I get older, but it's such a big thing to say, like, no, no, I don't think I want to do that. I don't think I can do that.
Yeah.
How can we do this differently? Or I'm just out. Like, I'm just out. Like, it's okay to say that. Like, you know what I mean? No one knows your circumstance. Like, I'm not, no, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think the list, like going in with the list and not coming up with the questions, but then they always like kind of sucker punch you and give you news that you didn't anticipate.
Right.
But like
Right.
having the questions, I hate when the doctor like eye rolls when they see you looking at the list, and I'm just like, you know what? I paid you to I you work for me right now. I paid you to come here. You work for me right now, and
Yeah.
I'm going to ask my questions. And we forget that that is the relationship. It's a service thing, and we are paying for the service.
Absolutely. And I like my doctor a lot, just general doctor. I like him a lot. When I do have more questions, I he doesn't act like annoyed, but it's like on the third or fourth question or the fifth question, you can start to feel like, you know what I mean? And he knows that I'm going to be like, hey, I'm not done. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? I'm not done. Like, I don't normally do this. I'm not done. We're still here. But you can get that to like, oh, okay, oh, okay, all right, you got another question. You know what I mean?
right,
And it's just
right.
like,
But it's so funny that when it comes to like when we're talking about like cancer decisions and we're worried about offending the doctor and the doctor's time is valuable and we're talking about literally life and death decisions and we're like, "Oh, I don't want him to hate me." I like what is programmed into our brains to make us think that way is so crazy, but true. I
it
mean,
is,
I
it
do
is
it all the time.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Well, it is a programming. It's exactly the right
Yeah,
word. It's exactly the right word. And it's a programming for everyone, really. Really, because
yeah,
if you look back, I mean, you know, you can go deep into this, but it's like be nice and don't be rude and mug and don't be a bother and don't be a problem. And especially for women, don't be any of those things. And when it's a doctor, it's somebody who we don't have the expertise, right? That's why we're going to them. So we see them in this, you know, like, okay, well, they're
yeah.
just, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to feel dumb. I don't want to look dumb. He's giving me the answers. She's giving me the answers. But it's an interesting, why do
Well,
we do that?
yeah, and we've come so far because, like, you think about the what is it, Susan, the breast cancer, the Susan J. Coleman. Is it what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Susan G. Komen, yeah,
thank you. She didn't even. You don't talk about your breasts with your doctor. Like, she
right,
didn't even feel comfortable talking about her breasts with the
right,
doctor because you don't want a doctor to feel uncomfortable, and it's just like, so at least we've come farther than that and we can say breast in public and NFL players
right,
can wear pink shoes and we can talk about breasts. But
right,
but it's still we still have that like, oh, and I think about it like a contractor, right? If I was going to have somebody build a second story on my house, like I'd ask some questions.
right, right,
But this is your life. But you're like, oh, you don't want to make him mad. I hope he still likes me.
right,
Or he,
right. I will be
and
annoying.
he. I guess I'm like caught in the patriarchy, and I keep referring to him as a he. Although my oncologist is a she. Both of my oncologists were she's.
I think it's more in what your experience is. Most
Yeah,
of my doctors have been male, which is a whole right.
yeah.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, and
Um,
I wouldn't say though that it's interesting. I wouldn't say that necessarily all my female doctors are more understanding. I've had female doctors be even tougher with me because it's like
Absolutely,
buck up, you know?
absolutely. The female doctors I've had have had a more direct approach that I didn't necessarily care for.
The men are more scared of you.
I don't know if it's that, but it's very much so. If somebody is direct, like I am, I don't like it. So
Yeah,
I find that interesting.
yeah. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing, but I think the list is super important and to like I can understand like sometimes I'm like, okay, these are not like now that I'm sitting in here, these questions aren't as important as I thought they were. But like there's certain ones. I had one doctor that just took the list out of my hand and I was like, all right, and but he went through all of
Okay,
them and I was like, cool,
I'm fine with that.
And
I'm
if I
fine with
have a
that. And
doctor, yeah, go ahead.
well, and if it's a cancer diagnosis like we're talking about, the list is important.
Yeah. Well, and you might not get another shot to ask those questions for a month. I mean, granted, I know now there's portals. I mean, I was dealing in a time where the
Right,
first time I had cancer, there was no portals, and the second time there was. But you don't go to your portal and ask 7 questions.
right.
They tell you make another appointment, and then you get another month to wait to get in.
Absolutely,
And so,
absolutely.
and like, I granted that I get that you only have 15 minutes with me, but like, okay, then let's get to it and
Yeah,
answer these questions.
yeah.
Or send your physician's assistant in after you're done and let them answer my questions.
Well, and I always just assume you can go ahead and take 20. You can go ahead and take 20 minutes. I've waited plenty of times for patients
Right.
prior to me that I assume needed more time than they were allotted. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just, so take 20. I'll listen fast. You talk fast. Let's get through it.
Yeah.
It's too important not to.
Yeah. So the other thing is recording uh things now, which is I have never actually asked a doctor if I could record a visit. And so I don't know why I have that, like, you know.
I think you'd find that they would be, most of them are fine with it. They will just know that, okay, this is being recorded. They will,
Right, yeah.
you might get a little bit of a different delivery of the information. But they're usually even fine if you're face, like I have FaceTimed. I FaceTimed my husband at one of my mom's cancer doctor follow-ups, just so he could
Oh,
hear, you
interesting.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So he could hear the information too. Um, and so that, I mean, that's not, you could do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know why I never did it, especially because the second time my ex-husband wasn't, with me in the journey. I
Right.
kind of did that one solo, even though we were still married. And um, yeah, I was all on my own and I was the only one that could digest it, and it just never even occurred to me. Now that surgeon, was magical and wonderful. So, maybe I felt more comfortable and I didn't feel like I was missing anything. But still, you're so wrapped up. It's so funny that it's like, oh, you're in this pressure cooker and you're getting information that's like life or death, and we're like, yeah, I'll remember.
Right. You're not even present. You can't even be fully present because you can't you're still absorbing all of the new information. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll remember that. You get in the car. I don't know what they said.
Right. And
No
and you're
idea what they said.
probably, sick too, so you probably don't feel good.
Right. 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 Yeah, I'll remember. Okay.
Yeah. So I think recording, if I ever do it again, that would be on my list.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Were you there with your mom when she got her, like, terrible news, or was she by herself?
Which terrible news. I think that
Any
there's
of
so
them?
many, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um when she when her cancer came back in 2012, we were on a cruise. We were on vacation. And she had something going on that I didn't know about that seemed relatively minor when you hear about it. She had a rash that wouldn't go away. And you just don't know about it. I do now.
Yeah.
I do now, ever since then, ever since that day.
My friend told me that she had
Um,
a rash, and I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's a thing because of your mom." I knew.
it's a thing. Yeah. So we were on vacation, and we talked to her every day on vacation, and she didn't tell us. Of course, she didn't tell us, and she told us shortly after getting home. And so, so she was by herself. And then when she got the news that no, I don't think I was with her when she got the news that every appointment just became progressively worse because,
Mm,
it was just status quo for a while, and then it had metastasized, and then it had metastasized more. So I couldn't even tell you. I was with her in the appointment where we found out it went to her bones. So that was pretty bad. That's definitely where things have
did
gone to a
you
place where they're not going to.
Right. Did you
You're
have
not going to be able to
any feeling that
stop.
something was up with, like, before you went, or were you sucker punched?
Oh, sucker punch completely.
Yeah.
Oh, before we went on this trip, yeah, no, had no idea. No, had no idea.
Yeah.
Had no idea.
And
And
then the
she had.
bone, when it went to her bones, did you know, like, did you have an idea something was going, any clue that they were going to land you with that news that day?
No,
Yeah.
no. No, I always assumed once April, it was April 2012. After that, I always just assumed that it was just going to be bad. I
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean? But no, I had no idea. No, I had no idea.
Those
Yeah.
days, I just, the sucker punch,
And she didn't either.
yeah.
She
It,
didn't either,
it's it's so tough because then then it's like super important for you to ask questions and you have no idea what to ask about
No,
because you haven't done any
slow it up.
research on this
Yes,
thing that they just told you. And
yeah.
like I get like you want to be across and face to face and be there, but it's like but then you're totally unprepared to ask any questions. And I don't know a better way of doing it, but it just really sucks. And when we
I don't think there is a better way, right?
yeah,
Because they get the results, whatever those results of whatever has been figured out. They can't call you at home and give you that on the phone. Like
yeah,
I agree. I don't think there's any better way to do it. I don't think this. I think that for a lot of people, I mean, for me, I once it just kept happening, I just knew. I just kept assuming the worst. I just never
right.
knew what the worst was going to be. I
You were
never
like the what about Bob approach. Like
absolutely, absolutely
if I pretend I've got it, then it won't get it.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. I heard
Don't
something.
don't mute while you're on with me. How dare
Well,
you? It's very
look,
disrespectful.
I'm
We're
leaving.
having conversation here.
I'm leaving.
You're in space. Where are you going to go?
This is. I don't know. This is about as good as it gets. This is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I remember we when we found out that my tumor had recurred, and we found it out from the MRI tech, which you're never supposed to find out, but it was just a language barrier because he was like, "When are you having surgery?" And I was like, "I already had surgery," and I was like, "Was this guy dumb?" And then like finally he's like, "Look," and he's like points at the screen, and you see the outline, and you see the golf ball, and like that he just took that picture.
What? I don't even have a word for it.
I we it felt like when the wind was taken out of you. Like it we were just stunned, and so we're just like, can we get copies? And at that time, like they had to run a little DVD, but he ran it right for us. And but I just remember us two sitting in very uncomfortable chairs, and we just didn't say a thing. We were just like, what just happened? Like I was 6 weeks from surgery, 7 weeks from surgery, where I had it removed, and we had a like, clean scan a week after surgery showing it was gone. And then 6 weeks after that clean scan, we have a golf ball that's the same size of what was removed. It was just like, it was just
I mean,
dumbfounding.
talk about being surreal. It's already surreal. That's an extra
It was
whammy.
nuts. Yeah. And so, and then the other sucker punch is when I thought I was going to have surgery and they called and said, we'd like to do chemo. And I was like, say, huh? Um, and we had a flight to Hawaii, and I was like, okay, well, we're supposed to go to Hawaii. Um, can we wait until we get back? Because we were doing like 10 days in Hawaii. And she's like, no. Um, and so, like, that Friday, I got a pick line. Then we had a luau to celebrate Hawaii since we weren't going. And then on Monday, I started chemo. Like, they were just like, we're worried it's too close to your spine based on the last scan, and we don't want to take the chance. So we want you in chemo right away. And so we had to cancel. Instead of going, I was literally in the hospital when I was supposed to be in Hawaii.
I think that it's so wild how you become accustomed to the life changing in an hour things.
Right?
Absolutely. And it's just if you have, this is a weird thing to say, but if you have cancer enough, um, or long enough, it's going to
Yeah.
happen where you're going to get a call that goes, no, we need to do a procedure today or whatever it is. And you're just going to do
Right. Yeah. No,
it.
oh, you thought your life was going this direction? It's this
Yeah.
direction, you know.
One day
Um,
they had my mom come in for like tomorrow we're going to do a procedure, or like within a couple of days we're going to do a procedure where how they described it to her was they were going to put a substance into her bones that was like cementing her bones. It was kind of like how they described it was kind of like, and how she interpreted it was kind of like, when you fix a car, you put Bondo in there on
yeah.
there, and it was like that. And so she had this procedure, and I can't remember what year that was.
I just have
Um,
an imagination like they're just filling in the Swiss cheese of your bones. Like,
but it's like hammer. It's a very, and you are not entirely asleep all the time for it.
no, no.
And then you have to lay. This is, I don't know, this is how many years ago, however many years ago it was. You had to lay on your stomach for 6 hours after
No.
the surgery. So that was after. So it had to be in 2016. It had to be in 2016 because it had metastasized to her bones in 2016, the end of 2016. So,
I,
and that was
and
just like a hey. And so we drove to Sacramento and did that one day.
that's crazy.
It
It's
was
just,
crazy.
and you get used to crazy. They're like, hey, will you take this pill that makes you radioactive and you can't be near your family for
Yeah,
a few days? Oh,
yeah. And you just go,
okay.
okay. And it's just a mind-boggling what the mind can just mind-boggling what the mind can do. That's weird,
Yeah.
but it is. I mean, it just is.
Yeah. And the things you say yes to.
The things you say yes to at the drop of a hat. Because she said, okay,
Okay.
and then I got in the car and drove her down there.
No research, no Googling the procedure, no
Not a bit.
seeing the side effects.
Not one. Nope. Okay.
Not like if I do this next weekend, am I going to be okay? Can I
Yeah.
postpone this a
No.
week? Yeah.
No.
That is
No.
that I think yeah, I don't think I would agree to that now without a really good reason why. Like I understand the reason for my chemo and like okay, that's a really good reason. It's good we don't get it in the spine. Good call, I guess. But
Sure.
like, like what is the repercussions for waiting a week to get me to get a second opinion or wrap my brain around this, right?
Absolutely. And I also, if people make snap decisions about that, I mean, like, I don't think, I don't think there's a wrong decision
Yeah,
when you're on this journey, because all you're doing is making the best decision that you can make in that moment. Sometimes you don't have a week to think about
right.
it. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do, and that's fine if you want to do that, and you should do that if you want to do that.
Yeah,
And sometimes you don't, and I think you just have to be, and you've said this, whatever decision that you make, that's the decision, and you can't question it. You don't look back. There's no rear view mirror. You're looking through the windshield the whole time because you can't question it. You just have to do it, and it's the decision. It's the decision. There isn't good or bad.
yeah.
You
I
know,
and that's what like I yeah, I totally agree. And that's what we were so conflicted about. I can't remember even what choice was in front of us. And the oncologist said, you make the decision with the best, you have all the information in front of you. The decision you make is the best one you have with that amount of time and experience and knowledge. And like you said, you never look back. And you never question that decision again. You just know at the time you made the best choice. Because I said, what if I'm wrong? What if this is not the right? Like, I just never felt like I could live with any of the choices. And the thing was,
because they're
then
terrible.
they're
They're all
terrible.
terrible.
It's shitty choice number one, shitty choice number two, and either way, you still might die. Yay!
Right, 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 right.
Like this one, you're more likely to lose a limb, but you have more time. Cool,
Right.
cool.
Thank you. That sounds great. You know, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's so hard. And, it's, I have done things afterwards, like elective surgeries, because I've like, could I live with not doing this elective surgery and finding out later it was something that I could have done something
Mm,
about. And that I could never live with myself. And that's a personal choice, right? That's,
yes,
like I have a scar on my back this long because I was like, I don't care. Cut me open and see if you see anything, because this doesn't feel right. And he didn't see anything. And it was, no gain except for my peace of mind knowing he didn't find something.
right,
And it made me feel better. And like, I
right,
hate that scar, but then I have to think about, yeah, but that gave me such peace of mind knowing that he, right in that moment, was able to answer that question that was really, really messing with me. Um,
well, and that you listened to yourself and you didn't just go, well, I guess it's fine. I'll just be over here, not,
yeah.
just wondering.
Well, that only took like 8 years of therapy, I think, to realize
I
that
know.
I had to stay, because they would go, "Oh, you don't really need that blood test. We think this." And it took me a long time. And now I say, "Well, is it okay if we do the blood test anyway? Because I don't mind paying for it, and I know it'll make me feel better." And then they go, "Oh, okay."
Uh-huh.
Don't know why I didn't realize that I had the power to say that before.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think it takes, well, then you also have a doctor that goes, oh, yeah, okay,
Right.
and if you don't, then that's not the right doctor.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing, is
Uh,
that you have to find the right doctor for you. And I mean, unless
yeah,
someone has got like such a specialty in your rare thing, but even then it might not be the best choice,
right.
um like my OBGYN is not a hugger. She is not, gonna, shoot the shit with you, but damn, she's good.
Yeah,
And when it
yeah,
came to delivering my son, that's who I wanted on the job. I
absolutely.
didn't need a hug. I needed somebody who was going to take the cord from around my son's neck and keep me calm and tell me not to move. And
Absolutely.
that's what she did, you know?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's like different decisions. But like for someone that, like, dude, cancer, you need someone with the bedside manner. I did actually. So my oncologist retired, and she gave me somebody else. And she said, he's an excellent doctor. And he came in and he would not respect my opinion for nothing. I could not get him to listen to me, and he did not give me a chance to speak. And I wrote her and I said, I believe that he is qualified in every way, shape, or form, but not for me. He and
Mm,
I are not seeing eye to eye, and I don't feel like I have a voice in my own care. And she said, okay, let's get you somebody else.
yeah.
And I love my oncologist now because she's just like, let's scan it. If we're worried about something, we just scan it, and she knows that that will make me feel better. Then she has an answer. My tumor has a 70% recurrence rate. We don't screw around with those kind of numbers. We just get the
Right.
scan. And but he was like, no, we'll just wait and see.
Yeah. No thanks.
I'm not about wait and see.
Yeah.
Um, but one thing you said about your mom, to go back to that, being awake, knock me out for any possible procedure that I can. If
Oh,
I could knock out for my dentist appointment, I would.
uh, I'm getting on board for that. I'm getting on
Right.
board with that. Yeah. It's getting closer. Yeah.
Now,
Getting
I am
closer.
also someone who handles drugs wonderfully. I come out of anesthesia fine. I do not get nauseous when I take medication. Fentanyl I have a problem with, but it's getting a bad rap these days anyway. So,
I don't
um,
think you're going to be given much of it. I think they'll find, I think you're going to
dude,
find something else.
that is what they give you when you are going to have. Okay, I had a baby 15 years ago, but I go there and they say, okay, we're going to give you drugs. And I said, what are you going to give me? And they said, why? And I said, because I want to know what you're going to give me. So, first of all, it's my body. Let me know what you're going to give me. She says, fentanyl. And I said, I'm allergic to fentanyl. And she said, well, what happens when you have fentanyl? Because I had fentanyl patches and I went to the emergency room. And I said, I throw up. And she goes, well, that's a side effect, not a
So
allergy.
it shouldn't make you throw up. It's not supposed to.
And I said, I don't want to throw up while I am in labor. Can we talk with my doctor and give me Dilaudid?
Right. Which doesn't make me feel anything but wonderful.
Wonderful, right? And so, I mean, I roll all the things,
Ew.
and guess what? I got Dilaudid. I was like that is not. I don't care that it's a side effect. And then when I went, what was the last procedure I had? Oh, I had an ablation. When I went to have my ablation, they put you out, and I said, "What are you going to put me out with?" And they said fentanyl, and I was like, "Oh,
That's
I'm allergic."
fascinating.
I said, "I'm allergic to fentanyl," and they said, "Oh, this is not like the fentanyl on the street. Like this is
No,
such
I
a."
know.
And I was like, "Yeah, but it makes me." And they go, "Well, it's standard." Well, and so basically they said, if you
That's
have a side effect while we're in there, we'll change it. They were hard fast on fentanyl is what they used to put you on.
that's really
I
that's
was
odd.
shocked.
That's odd to me. I mean, what do I know? I'm not a
I
medical
know. I had no
professional.
idea. And they were right. I handled it fine. So maybe it is different than the patches or whatever. But also, I have it literally on my allergy list. So
That's
why
what
they
I
were
don't
just like
like.
cool
Why
with
are
it?
yeah, yeah.
I was
Because
like,
I have a
you're,
medication that I don't like. It gives me a horrible side effect. Like when you read the side effects, it says these are pretty serious and you shouldn't have these.
yeah,
So I just tell them I have an allergy. I just tell them, and they go, "What happened?" They go, "What happens?" And I tell them I have horrible headaches for days and days and days after one exposure to this medicine. I don't want it. I don't need it. Give me a different life-saving medicine if we're at that point. I'm sure there's many you can. That's odd. Interesting.
well, and it's probably because they have to do paperwork. And like,
Oh no, it is because
yeah,
I had a procedure done. The doctor before I get the procedure done, while we're talking about what procedure are you going to get this? What here are the different things? He said, "Well, I would recommend that we would use propofol because it's an easy procedure, And
right, yeah,
he goes, but I have to tell the insurance company why. I have to tell the insurance company why I want to give you propofol instead of whatever the other thing was, so that we can get it covered." And I just thought, okay, so yeah, because you have anxiety, all these
yeah,
things that
yeah,
are,
yeah.
and I just thought, well, God, isn't that something? You know what I mean? Isn't that something?
Yeah, I feel bad for nurses and doctors and all that because, they did not get into the insurance business on purpose. They're in the insurance business.
They're in the insurance business, but that wasn't, in the, I want to be a doctor
Right.
30 years ago.
No
You
one's a little
know
girl like, I can't wait to learn all the
what I mean?
codes.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait to have to negotiate with insurance companies to save my patient's life. They just didn't, that wasn't on the writing wasn't on the wall.
Well, and how frustrating because it's like, I know that this is going to be the better choice for you. And
Right.
yet, like, for myself, I lucky enough the second time I had cancer that I didn't have to really worry about making a fiscal choice. But I know that when I was pregnant with my son, I'm on blood thinners, forever. And so when I was pregnant with my son, they, um, what's it called? Lovenox. They prescribed me Lovenox. $700 a week. I was going to be pregnant for, at that time, another, 35 weeks or something. And I was like, that is just, it cannot be done. But I couldn't take the blood thinner that I was on anymore because that is not good when you're pregnant. And we already found out I was pregnant after I had been taking that medication. And so instead we went to heparin, and it was super cheap, but I had to like ding 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 take it out of the vial and like inject myself twice a day, as opposed to with the Lovenox once a week. Um,
Mm,
but that's what I had to do because $700 for 35 weeks, like it was just, I had to say no to the best care for myself because financially it was
absolutely.
not an
I think
option.
about that. Well, I try not to think about it, but I
Right.
think about when it's my turn on the cancer roulette wheel.
Woo woo,
You
cancer
know,
train.
yeah, there will be less options for me because I can't afford them.
Right.
Like my mom would get a Neulasta shot, and it was tens of thousands of dollars per shot. I I can't. That's not an option for me. You know, so it's just it's an extra added thing. What are
Yeah.
you gonna do? Are you gonna stay housed so you can stay alive for, like it's just bizarre. It's just bizarre that
It's
this is
terrible
how we have to make
choices.
healthcare decisions.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. It's and like I said, I'm lucky now, and I like the first time I was sick, um I was I beat myself up about this, and I shouldn't, because there's so many reasons why I was not thinking clearly, but we had a short-term disability policy that I did not realize. And so I was just on state disability. And, I was the main breadwinner of the house. And it's one of the reasons why I went back to work a little too early, is because we could not keep, like, I was paying the minimum amount. We had like a reverse amortization. I was paying like the minimum amount on our mortgage, and we were just kind of just getting by. And so if I had applied for that short-term disability, I would have gotten my full check the whole time I was sick.
wow,
And our HR person never told me. Um, so, you know, I beat myself up because I kind of felt like in the back of my head I knew, but like also I was on opioids from,
right, right.
December of 2006 to, when did I get pregnant with Tony? January of 2009, so I just wasn't thinking clear. And you're just making so many decisions, right? I was making all these other decisions, and I was just getting by, and I was the one that was still paying all the bills even though I was sick, and I had all these medical bills that were coming up, and like I have a real I still have trauma from opening mail. Like I really don't open a lot of mail, and I it's an issue that I've been working on for a long time, because I just, one of those things that I open could make me not be able to afford rent or my mortgage or,
Absolutely. And I think that's a super common thing. It's awful and it's super
yeah.
common.
At the charity that I'm on the board of, we have an urgent need fund, and um, I'm stoked because we just got, the county gave us an extra $25,000 for our urgent need fund. Um, and but these people come, and it's basically, it's a short term, but it's like I had to buy medicine this month, and so I can't pay my rent.
Right. That's a life-changing thing.
And what are you supposed to do? Like,
What are you supposed to do? What kind of choice is that?
yeah. Um, and so it really sucks that we're in this position, which, don't get me political, Julie. We're gonna stop talking about this real quick.
That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic. Yes, but I have faith in our system that it'll all get fixed.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, me too. Yeah,
Look at us, so optimistic.
me too. Yeah. I think that's true in the end. Whatever the end
In
means.
the end,
Not
is
the end,
yeah,
but like the end. But I think in the end,
yeah. It's just how much death and destruction does it take for us
how
to
much
get there?
how much shall we survive? And will we be here to see it? That's
Will we
another question.
perish?
Will we perish while we wait?
Will we be the example that pushes them through? That's what the week after. The week after we die, they're like, no,
100%. And the good thing is that we won't care. We'll just be like, look at that.
right?
Would you look at that? They
We'll be
finally did it.
floating in
'Cause
nothingness.
we'll be doing whatever it is that you do.
You'll be like where you are right now.
I'll
You'll
be where I
be
am right now in
you
complete joy or something like it.
tapped into consciousness.
Oh, I don't need that. Not
It's
really.
too much. It feels
It's too much.
very fuzzy.
Too
Lots of
much.
noise.
Yes, lots of too many feelings or emotions or something, and I just prefer just to float. Let's just float.
I
I
do
want to be
enjoy a
tapped in
nice
nature.
float.
Well, it's a different kind. I'm not getting in. I'm not getting in your liquid coffin.
It's amazing. I convinced
I
somebody the
know
other day to do it.
you did not.
I did.
If this ever goes out into the ether, this ever goes out into the ether, whoever's listening, watching this, I dare you to get into a liquid coffin.
It's a float of Epsom salt and it feels amazing and it's so good for your inflammation and you can just
Epsom salt is, I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that.
that it's Epsom salt. Yeah, it's
I
like
didn't know that.
magnesium Epsom salt. It's just a giant Epsom salt bath.
I didn't know that.
But they do put the pod over you.
Yeah, that's so okay. All you had to do is
Okay,
bring it back,
but
bring it
there is
back.
a town near you that is within an hour's driving distance, I believe.
An hour. Okay. That
It
has these?
so they have them and they're in a giant room. It is a ceiling, not a coffin door. It is not a pod. It is
Oh.
literally a glass door,
Oh.
and you walk in, and the top is the ceiling. There is like the closing is the glass door.
Oh,
If
that I
you
could do
try
that.
it, I'll take you there.
I could
The
do
town
that.
begins with an O and ends with a Erst.
That's near me?
Is it?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's
Well,
like
near
outside
me, you
outside of
know.
Yosemite, Southgate.
Oh, that's not near me.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then
It's
let's just
probably
plan
the
a
same distance.
vacation.
We could just do that. It's probably the same distance from you as it is for me. We're probably the same
Oh,
distance.
all right. We'll just
Yeah.
plan a vacation and we'll go there, and then
Okay.
we can go to
Okay.
Yosemite during the day, and then we can do
Okay.
floats at night, and you can
Okay.
say this is amazing.
I would. I probably would because it sounds great because they're not closing a coffin lid on top of me. But you said you said Epsom salts, and I was like, damn it. Epsom salts are good for you.
They are good for you. It
They're
feels
good
good.
for you. Yeah, they're great for you. That's super healthy. That changes it.
All right. Well, ladies and
Changes it. Yeah.
gentlemen, we're going to end on a high note tonight.
No coffin has a ceiling.
The body just gets love and care.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's a good ending. It was going dark for a while.
It really did go dark for a while, and somehow we saved it.
That's pretty standard. That's pretty standard.